to ask a question, please let us know. And we'll get started with Max Boltman.
Jeff, what was your takeaway coming out of that one?
I'm disappointed that we didn't get two. We were in a spot obviously where we could have got two. Certainly, we got down 2-0. I thought in the second we started playing better hockey. They got a great stretch game. They move up the ice great. So if you give them time and space, they've got excellent offensive attack. And I thought in the first we didn't stay on the hound good enough, and they were able to hit guys up the ice. And then I thought as the game went on, we still had chances in the first, but I thought as the game went on, we had better pressure, and as we had better pressure, their stretch game wasn't as effective. And, I wouldn't say by any stretch the game turned. It just went back and forth. And, I thought we had some good penalty kills, or a good penalty kill, two good penalty kills, I guess. But we want to find a way to get two.
On the power play, I imagine, I think it was 4 opportunities, didn't get a ton of chances there. Is that kind of the key in not scoring tonight?
Yeah, it wasn't good enough. It's got to be better. We're going to go back to the drawing board on it, simplify some things, and find a way to be more effective on it.
There was the one shift late in the third. I think it was Ernie had a couple blocks and Fabry had one.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty frantic sequence. I mean, how kind of big of a shift is that in getting the momentum to get the second goal?
Well, I think it's a little bit telling of our team, the amount of sacrifice that you saw in that shift. Certainly that's not the exact way we want to play D-zone, but when you have a big block and the guy's down, all of a sudden you get a little frantic, and then another guy's down, you get a little more frantic. So, it was chaotic, but I also think, as you could tell from the crowd's response, that was pretty awesome what those guys did, the way they laid it on the line. Ernie was hurt on the first block, and he stayed in there and blocked another one. And it talks about the soccer. I think it's a good example of what our team's been about, and that we want to sacrifice more than other teams to win hockey games, and that's what we're going to have to do in order to be successful.
Thanks.
Yep.
Next, go to Ansar Khan.
Yeah, Jeff, obviously you don't want to get down by 2 goals, but 2 games in a row coming back from that deficit against 2 good teams, just what does that do for a team's confidence, knowing that you can climb out of holes like that?
Well, I think, it was similar to the other night. I think we started playing better hockey, and then I think, obviously you got to get big saves at big moments, which we got from Ned, like we got from Greiser, and we put ourselves in position to win a hockey game, which is great. I'm really, really disappointed we didn't win it. But I think it does, certainly build our confidence that when needed, we can come from behind. Now, we don't want to be in that spot lots, but when needed, we can do it.
And just your thoughts on Nedeljkovic now. Seems like he's gaining more of a comfort level here these last few starts.
Yeah, I think the last 2 games he's been in a situation where he's had to make a whole bunch of big saves at critical moments, and he's done that. And so he's certainly, I think both guys should have lots of confidence with where their game's at.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Next, we'll go to Kevin Allen.
Yeah, Jeff, if I could just sort of build on Ansar and Max's questions. When you were looking at this team coming into the season, were you kind of hoping you would get to the point where what you've seen over the last 2 games, the commitment, the drive to come back, come from behind, to find a way to stay competitive?
Yeah, I think ultimately we want to be a team that sacrifices more than the other group, and I think you build confidence in a belief you're going to win if you believe you've sacrificed more than other people, whether it's being sacrifice on your commitment level in practice, sacrifice during games, and that's something that we have to be about in order to win, and I think we've had good examples of that. So I didn't, as I said lots, I didn't know what to envision with this team. We got a whole bunch of new people. You never know how pieces are going to fit together. But I knew what needed to be important for us to win, and that was that we had a level of commitment and sacrifice beyond normal.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Next, we'll go to Helene St. James.
Jeff, on the topic of new people, Moritz Seider has the big shot on the tying goal, and he played 25, 26 minutes. Is your confidence in him as high as it can get?
I have a lot of confidence in Moritz Seider. Moritz got to get better at some things too. So, he's getting minutes because we think he puts us in position to win hockey games, and then I want him to be a great player, though, not a good player. And so, he's got to keep building his game, and I think he did some outstanding things tonight, and I think he made some mistakes that are correctable, and I think he will correct them. So, like any other player on our bench, when they're on your bench, you're trying to win the hockey game. Doug Hood is putting out the guys that he thinks gives the best chance, and a lot of times, minutes are emblematic of that. But I also think there's areas in his game he's got to keep getting better at.
What difference has it made just to have a guy in the back end who can contribute offensively? I think now he has 7 points in 8 games. You guys haven't had a lot from your back end in recent years.
Yeah, no, it's something we've talked about, I think he does a good job that way. He knows how to kind of get pucks through. I think if we can get our power play going, I think him, Leds, and Phil Aronic will all have more points too. So that's an area we got to get going on. But certainly, it's a big piece of. I think he can be a real good all-around defenseman. That's what we felt since the day he got drafted. To be honest with you, and certainly since I've seen him play, and so we got to keep pushing to make him the very best we can.
Lastly, just you guys are in Canada a little bit longer this time. Is Tyler going to be able to just skate on his own, or is he going to practice with anybody? Is there a contingency there, or?
Yeah, no, there's a contingency. It's up to him if he wants to skate. But we have a plan in place that he'll follow according to what he wants.
But so he will be able to. I mean, they have a practice with another like.
He'll be by himself.
Thanks.
Yep.
Last question, Steve Kornacki.
Yeah, Jeff, you touched on the sacrifice that your team's showing. What's at the root of that? Is it something that's been stressed by you and your coaches? Does it come from the leadership of your team? Where does the sacrifice mindset come from?
All of us. I think our players recognize it. I think our leadership group recognizes it, starting at the top of Dylan Larkin. He wants to win, and he knows as he's gone through this league, he's learned what it takes to win. And so I think, with him, DeKaiser and Stalzy, along with another group of guys that are in that leadership group, they know it's an important message to push, and it's certainly been a message that we're pushing from our coaching staff as well. So I think we're in unison on that we, again, our commitment level has to be outstanding, and everybody in this league sacrifices. Everybody in this league has a good commitment level. Ours has to be extraordinary every single night.
All right, that's all for us tonight. Thanks, everyone.